The hardest words to hear in life are often the simplest. No one remembers me. 4 words that reveal an unfilled human need so profound it can shatter confidence, destroy opportunity, and quietly erode the human spirit. In a world of 7 billion souls, to be unmemorable is to be invisible. But what if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you possess the power to become unforgettable to every person you meet? What if the ability to form instant connections, to make strangers feel as though they've known you for years, to leave people thinking about you long after you've left the room? What if this wasn't some mystical talent bestowed upon the socially gifted few, but a learnable skill waiting for you to master? The truth that Dale Carnegie discovered nearly a century ago remains unchanged by time or technology. People will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Small talk isn't small at all. It's the gateway to human connection. It's not about impressing others with your intelligence or achievements. It's about awakening in others the most powerful emotion they can experience, the feeling of importance. Consider, for a moment, how you feel when someone truly listens to you. Not the distracted half-attention of someone scanning the room for someone more interesting. Not the calculated patience of someone waiting for their turn to speak, but the rare and precious gift of someone's complete and undivided focus. Their eyes locked on yours, their mind fully present, absorbing not just your words, but the meaning behind them. In that moment, you feel seen. You feel valued. You feel important. This is the essence of Carnegie's wisdom, more vital today than ever before. In an age where digital screens constantly vie for our attention, where conversations have been reduced to abbreviated text messages, where social media has paradoxically made us more connected, yet more isolated, the ability to make someone feel truly important in person has become a rare and precious superpower. Think of the most magnetic people you've ever met. They weren't necessarily the most physically attractive, or the wealthiest, or the most accomplished. They were the ones who made you feel as if, for those moments you shared with them, you were the only person who mattered in their world. They possessed what the ancient Greeks called kairos, the ability to be fully present in the moment, to make time stand still through the sheer force of their attention. The great tragedy is that most people never develop this ability. They fumble through superficial exchanges about the weather. They ask questions without listening to the answers. They talk endlessly about themselves, oblivious to the glazing eyes of their captive audience. And then they wonder why they struggle to make meaningful connections, why opportunities seem to pass them by, why doors remain closed that open effortlessly for others. Abraham Lincoln, a man who rose from poverty to the presidency, understood this principle intimately. Despite the weight of a nation at war resting on his shoulders, he made time for ordinary citizens during his weekly public audiences. One observer noted that when Lincoln spoke with you, it was as if he had nothing else in the world on his mind. This quality, this generous bestowal of importance, helped bind a fractured nation together through its darkest hours. The power of making others feel important is not just some philosophical ideal. It's a practical force that shapes the trajectory of human lives. Research from Harvard Business School confirms what Carnegie intuited. People who feel valued perform better, contribute more, and remain loyal longer. This applies not just to professional relationships, but to every human interaction. Consider what happens in your brain when someone remembers your name, recalls details from your last conversation, or asks a thoughtful follow-up question about something you mentioned in passing weeks ago. Your brain releases dopamine, the same neurochemical triggered by winning money or eating chocolate. You feel good. You feel valued. And you begin to associate those positive feelings with the person who triggered them. This is the alchemy of small talk, transformed into meaningful connection. It's not about impressing. It's about impacting, not about being interesting, but being interested, not about claiming the spotlight, but about casting it generously upon others. Walt Disney, whose imagination created worlds that have captivated generations, once said that you can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality. Disney understood that behind every great achievement is not just vision, but human connection, the ability to make others believe their contribution matters. So how do you master this art? How do you transform mundane exchanges into moments of genuine human connection? How do you make others feel important without seeming insincere or manipulative? First, you must understand that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. In the age of multitasking and digital distraction, the simple act of focusing completely on the person before you has become revolutionary. Put away your phone. Square your shoulders toward them. Maintain gentle eye contact. These physical signals communicate louder than words ever could. You matter to me in this moment. Next, develop the discipline of radical listening. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not to understand. They formulate their response while the other person is still speaking, catching perhaps 30% of what's being said. But when you listen with your full being, not just your ears, but your eyes, your intuition, your heart, you begin to hear not just words, but the emotions behind them, the values driving them, the dreams sustaining them. Henry Ford, who revolutionized manufacturing and created unprecedented prosperity, attributed much of his success to this principle. If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle, as well as from your own. This isn't just good manners, it's good strategy. Learn to ask questions that matter, not the perfunctory, "How are you?" that invites the automatic, "Fine, thanks," but questions that gently open doors to what people truly care about. What's been the highlight of your week? What are you looking forward to right now? What's something you've been thinking about lately? These questions signal genuine interest and create space for authentic sharing. Remember details. The human memory is selective, prioritizing what we deem important. When you remember someone's spouse's name, their upcoming vacation, their child's piano recital, you're sending a powerful message. The things that matter to you matter to me because you matter to me. Napoleon Hill, after studying the world's most successful individuals for over 20 years, concluded that the ability to get along with other people was the most valuable skill one could develop. Success, he wrote, comes to those who become success-conscious. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure-conscious. Making others feel important is not just kindness, it's strategy. Consider how Helen Keller, despite being deaf and blind, became one of the most influential Americans of her time. Unable to see faces or hear voices, she developed an extraordinary sensitivity to the emotional states of others. She understood that beneath our words, beneath our social masks, lies a universal hunger to be seen, to be valued, to matter. By satisfying this hunger in others, she built a network of relationships that amplified her voice around the world. Look for the good in others and acknowledge it specifically. Not vague flattery, which feels empty and manipulative, but precise. Recognition of qualities and actions that genuinely impress you. I was struck by how patiently you handled that difficult customer. The thoroughness of your analysis shows remarkable attention to detail. I admire how you managed to stay calm under such pressure. These observations, when sincere, nourish the human spirit like nothing else. The great conductor Benjamin Zander tells the story of giving every student in his class an A grade on the first day of the semester. Not as an empty gesture, but as an invitation to live up to that standard of excellence. An A, he explains, is not a measure of performance, but a possibility to live into. When you search for and acknowledge the A qualities in others during small talk, you're not just making conversation, you're helping them step into their highest potential. Practice the art of the sincere compliment, not empty flattery about appearances or possessions, but thoughtful recognition of character, effort, and values. The difference between nice dress and you have such a gift for finding unique styles that express your personality is the difference between forgettable small talk and a moment of genuine connection. Eleanor Roosevelt, who transformed the role of First Lady through her activism and compassion, observed that great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. Elevate your small talk by occasionally steering conversations toward ideas that matter. Not controversial politics or divisive issues, but meaningful themes. Courage, beauty, growth, purpose that reveal character and create bonds deeper than circumstance. Notice how the most charismatic people ask for opinions rather than stating their own. What did you think of the speaker's main point? How do you feel about the company's new direction? Such questions accomplish two things simultaneously. They make the other person feel valued for their perspective, and they reveal valuable insights that might otherwise remain hidden. Andrew Carnegie, the industrialist who rose from poverty to become one of history's greatest philanthropists, attributed his success not to technical knowledge, but to his ability to inspire others. The ability to deal with people, he said, is as purchasable a commodity as sugar or coffee, and I will pay more for that ability than for any other under the sun. Small talk, when mastered, becomes nothing less than an investment in human capital. Every person you meet carries within them potential value, ideas, connections, perspectives, opportunities that can enrich your life in ways you cannot predict. By making them feel important, you not only honor their humanity, you unlock the doors to that potential. Consider how different your life would be if, starting today, you approached every conversation, from the boardroom to the break room, from client meetings to chance encounters, with the conscious intention of making the other person feel valued, not as a technique, not as manipulation, but as a mission. What doors might open? What relationships might deepen? What opportunities might emerge? The practice of making others feel important extends beyond words. It shows in how you remember birthdays and significant milestones without being reminded. It shows in how you celebrate others' successes with genuine enthusiasm rather than veiled envy. It shows in how you give credit generously and take blame sparingly. It shows in how you speak about others when they're not present, knowing that such words have a way of finding their way back to their subjects. Maya Angelou captured this timeless principle perfectly. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. In your hands lies the power to create these unforgettable feelings in everyone you meet. Imagine walking into a room, and instead of wondering, who here can help me, asking yourself, who here can I make feel important today? This subtle shift in focus, from taking to giving, from self to other, transforms not just your conversations, but your entire experience of life. It turns the simple act of small talk into a vehicle for significance, for impact, for legacy. The beauty of this approach is that it requires no special talent, no advanced education, no rare opportunity. It requires only the decision to focus your attention outward rather than inward, to listen more than you speak, to give more than you take. When you make others feel important, you paradoxically elevate yourself, not through self-promotion or achievement, but through the cultivation of a character that attracts rather than pursues opportunity. By becoming the person who consistently makes others feel valued, you become invaluable. In the quiet moments when you reflect on your life's journey, you won't measure your success by your bank account or your job title. You'll measure it by the lives you've touched, by the spirits you've lifted, by the potential you've helped unlock in others. And it all begins with the seemingly small decision to make people feel important. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more confident. Not when circumstances are perfect. But today, right now, in the very next conversation you have. Remember, the world is full of people starving for appreciation, thirsting for recognition, hungering for the simple gift of feeling that they matter. Through the art of small talk transformed into meaningful connection, you can satisfy that hunger, and in doing so, nourish your own soul as well. This is the wisdom that Dale Carnegie discovered, that history's most influential figures have applied, that science has now confirmed. When you master the art of making others feel important, you don't just master small talk, you master life itself. Begin today. Begin now. The next person you speak with is waiting to feel important. The power to fulfill that need rests entirely in your hands. Watch this video again and again till you find moment when stop.